Hey, before we get into today's episode, if you're a podcast host or guest, listen up. I've produced over 200 podcast episodes and guested on 50 podcasts just in 2025 alone. And let me tell you, nothing grows your audience or builds trust faster than being in front of the right listeners. That's why I created my podcast tour offer. I'll help you map out your topics, strategize your message, and find you the most aligned podcasts and audiences to get you and your business in front of. So if you've ever thought, I just wish more eyes were on my work, this is your sign. Let's get you on a podcast tour. You can find all the details in the show notes. Just look for podcast tour. Now let's dive into today's episode. I'm actually not even sure if I'm going to air this, but here we go anyway. This is a little story about how I resigned from my teaching job a couple weeks ago. And if you're new here, or even if you've been here a long time, you're probably like, wait a minute, I didn't even know you're a teacher, or I did know you're a teacher, but haven't you not been teaching for quite a while now? Yeah, actually, I haven't been teaching for 4 years. I've been out of the classroom for 4 whole years at this point. But the way it was set up was the first year that I left, my family and I decided that it would be safer to take a leave of absence. And so all that means in this school system that I was lucky enough that my district did approve was that I could come back to the school and I would have a job. I would have a teaching job. I wasn't guaranteed to go back to my exact grade level, but you're guaranteed to just come back. So I actually did that then for the next 3 years. So I asked for a total of 3 years worth of leaves. But what would happen was every winter around January, February, when the new year hit, I would have to tell my principal if I was going to take a leave, come back, or resign. So it was almost like clockwork, like Groundhog's Day. Every single year after the new year, it was like I was redeciding if I was going to be a teacher. Until I finally put that resignation in this year, I did not realize how much of a limbo I was sitting in. My whole body knew immediately that I was done teaching. It took my brain, my logic, wait, this is what we were going to do for our whole life. This is what we were going to retire as, to catch up to what my body knew. And that limbo, I think, prevented me from a lot of success or having quicker success. And I don't even mean success in like money. What I mean is like prevented me from having quicker clarity, getting to the point where I am now, where I'm like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is the area I'm supposed to be in, understanding that. So that limbo feels like I took weights out of my life backpack and put them down. And honestly, I don't necessarily have like everyone around me in my inner circle understanding even why I've been not teaching the last few years. And I've learned that that's okay. People know what they know from their own experience in life, and it's not always going to match yours. And that's all right. And you don't actually need them all to understand that. The moment that I did send that resignation letter also had such a different feeling than when I sent leave requests. There were tears, there was excitement, there was panic. And it's so interesting because I can logically say, like, this really doesn't change my day to day. This is how life's been for the last 4 years now. It's just that safety net of getting that job back, just jumping back into where I was, what I had been doing is gone. But I can tell you that I feel so much lighter just like energetically, and in my mind, the mental load of having to decide every winter, even though I'd already decided and it felt final to me, it was like, oh, here it is again. You have to decide again. And so instead of just being done and moving on and knowing that this was out of alignment for me now, and that's not to say anything bad about teaching. I have lots of teachers in my family, teachers that are best friends. They're amazing. We need amazing teachers. It's just not right for me. And I just don't feel at a soul level that that's like what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life, is to teach inside a classroom. But having to decide over and over again kept me in this loop and kept me from the next things. And I fully believe that when we sit in that sort of limbo, we don't get to see all the doors that potentially could open for us. We don't get to see all the opportunities because we don't have the space for it. Whether it's energetic or just a mental load that's being taken up, you just don't have the space to even consider some of these things that are popping up that could be opportunities. So I'm not certain, none of us are, what the future will bring, but I can tell you I feel lighter. I feel like I can't believe I've let myself stay in this limbo for this long. So I've ultimately decided 4 times now, 4 for 4, that I wasn't going back to teach. So here we are. The point of sharing this is, we can all learn from each other's stories. Sometimes we can't all share our stories because it's too new, it's too raw, it's too whatever. but there's a lot that we can learn inside those stories. And I just wonder if you have something like I was that's allowing you to, or preventing you from moving forward fully, from stepping fully into who you are now and letting that new version of you breathe and expand and take up space. Because when you sit in that limbo, you shrink and you play it safe and you don't really consider the next thing or what your next move is fully, because it's always in the back of your mind. Yeah, but maybe it'd be easier if I went back to this, because you know what is easy is slipping back into the life you used to live, because it's comfortable to our brain and that is safe because it's predictable. No matter if it was crazy or made you feel anxious or however you felt in it, that knowing of what it was, that predictability, good, bad, or ugly, feels safe to our brains and to our bodies. And I can tell you, I actually went back and subbed for 5 days. For a teacher friend of mine, she went to the Olympics. So she asked me like over a year ago if I would come sub for her. It's a grade level I taught. I'm like, yeah, this will be easy, no brainer. You have to go to the Olympics. We have a hometown girl. Her mom teaches in our building, and she was one of the USA women's hockey gold medalists, starter for the team. And so we had a lot of teachers go to the Olympics and watch her play with her family. And it was amazing. And so I went and subbed for 5 days. I can tell you that it is very easy to slip back into an old version of yourself. But once you sort of know that there's other options of what you could be and what you could do, and that you don't have to do what your 18-year-old self that went to college and got a degree thought that you should be doing. It's like one of those things that you can't not notice anymore. You know, when I realized how teaching made me feel after, like when I got home with my own kids and the tiredness or the irritableness or just feeling like everything on my calendar was too much, because when I went back to sub, any little thing that was on my calendar was like weighing on me like, oh my gosh, this is going to be too, and it's just like a little thing, but it was that weight and that heaviness. And so all of those things flood back to you. And when you learn that you have a different choice that you could make, and this isn't to say just go quit your jobs, but when you learn that there's other options in life other than be a worker or go to a 9 to 5, and that's great if that's where you're probably not listening to this podcast if that's the only thing you want in life. And when you learn that, it's just hard to go back. I don't know if this is going to air. We'll see. I just challenge you to look at your life and see if there's something, maybe it's small, maybe it's big like mine, like leaving a career that you never thought you'd leave, but maybe it's something little, and you just keep making yourself make the decision again and again and again, even though you've already made it. And it's time to move on. It's time to put those new shoes on and step into that new version of you and let that version grow and expand and breathe and really take up space, because you deserve to take up space. I deserve to take up space, and you deserve to be supported in that. I would love to hear from you if I do air this. If you're listening, to send me a DM and we can keep it private too. But I'm a safe space. If you don't have people in your corner that get it, I'm here to listen, because it's not easy. And it's not easy to make decisions for yourself, especially women, when you're taught from an early age that you are to be a caretaker and you are to put others before you, and you could just suck it up and get through it. And that's not fair to you. And you don't have to stay stuck if you're feeling stuck. Okay. Love you. Bye. Hey, before you go, if you've ever wished podcast guesting or hosting felt a little easier, you're going to love this. I started a free podcast matchmaking community where hosts and guests can actually connect, swap shows, and find aligned conversations without all the cold pitching and chaos. It's totally free, it's super fun, and it's growing every day. So whether you're looking to grow your audience, get in front of the right people, or just finally get your message out there, come join us. You can find the link in the show notes to join the community.